I mean,
You've never seen it.
maybe a sporophyte stage of a moss.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Or the other half. I can't remember which.
These are sundews.
Sundews.
Who?
The true Jersey Devil.
Yeah. These are insectivorous plants.
Wow.
They have hairs on the leaves.
Do they have an insect on it?
Yep.
Type. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. I mean,
And the hairs produce digestive enzymes and attractants.
Okay.
And as the insects come down and land on it and attempt to pollinate it,
gosh,
they get zapped.
So
and so
big.
the sundew supplements its nitrogen budget with insects. So it's part carnivorous.
protein.
Yeah. But look at them all in here. Okay. These are definitely obligate.
Oh, wow.
These are obligate plus.
Obligate and then some.
Sundews.
Okay, this area has standing water, you know, for part of the growing season. And then it's right just down below the surface. So we've got surface roots, we've got vegetation that's clearly obligate wet soil, some black material that's down in it, although what you find in sandy soils is not characteristic of the soils that we were looking at back up. But
So Jim, would you call the surface roots your hydrologic indicator or not?
yeah.
So you got all three?
Yeah.
You only need 2 out of 3.
So, and you see, what's this doing here?
That's some muffin. Is it?
No.
It's
See how much light? See, here's the black area, and then what have we got there?
that's not bleached.
Okay, that's the glade zone. Okay, and this area where the iron has been totally taken out, and there's no organic material in there. Now we're going to see that this is not such a good indicator in the Pine Barrens, in sandy soils. So we really can't use that. But the other indicators are clearly here, and what you look for in the Pine Barrens in the sandy soil, because sand has all these big spaces between them. The particles are so big and irregular that they leave a lot of space. Organic material can leach down through it too, which you don't normally have in these fine, loamy soils. And so what you get is a streaking of the sand. And the streaking of the sand is another very good indicator of wetland hydrology and hydric soils.
It's great device, all digital. It's a MiniDisc. It's great for recording lectures. You just mark it, topics change. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm not seeing very good streaking in this, so. Hope somebody's been dropping breadcrumbs or something. Is a result of higher water tables and higher water during the springs and part of the summer. So you have to look at the indicators. You can't just walk in and say, well, it's dry, so it's not a wetland.
If you came out here in late May, you think there'd be standing water here? How much do you think?
Here, probably a couple of inches, at least. I would say that it's going to be up as high as that sphagnum moss, so it's probably 4 or 5 inches. And what have we got right here?
Cool.
Drainage channel. And even with the drainage channel, it's still wetland. It's still wetland up into there. So this is modified, but it's still good wetland. And this is probably an old cranberry bog. Okay, let's find our way out. Aerobic conditions to make iron more soluble. It was a beautiful place for this stuff, and all of the bogs ended up with these layers of iron, and they ended up being mined. So one of the big industries in the Pine Barrens, here's another one of those sphinx moths. It's a big area for mining of iron. They just dredged out the bogs and scraped the iron out and used it in the Revolutionary War for cannonballs, things like that. All these kinds of iron uses in the military. And so it was a thriving industry here. And to fuel that, they had all these wonderful pitch pines, and all they had to do was cut them down and burn them. And they had the fuel for processing the iron. But that's a piece of bog iron. So what does it suggest about this place?
It used to be a bog.
Used to be a bog. Okay. So this area before it was a blueberry patch was probably a bog, and that's probably why there's organic material in here that these guys are getting, but may not be. But it's why we find the iron here, and you can just look around, you'll see iron, these little pieces of bog iron all over. Okay, keep in mind that fungi don't have roots.
Right.
Okay, so that allow the convective losses of heat, or to conduct the heat up outside the boundary layer by just sticking up and sort of like the antennas that lose it. And so there's two different kinds of strategies that are, and the leaves tend to be thick, which also allows them to conduct the heat to the edges better. Okay, so we've got a variety of oaks. Now what you're seeing here is that these oaks, see how they're sprouting from down in the base like that? They really look almost like a dense layer of just widely spread oak trees. These things are oaks that have been burned and the tops have been killed off, but the crowns resprout. And all oaks can resprout from the crowns. So they are pre-adapted, in a sense, to a fire ecosystem. Now if you look around, do you see any other signs of fires? What's that? So some seedling pitch pines, okay. One of the, well, let's walk over here. This chestnut oak is one that also has sprouted and it's grown quite a bit more, quite a bit bigger than these little guys. Many of these are actually limited in terms of height. Post oak is not, but scrub oak and blackjack oak and so on are really things that are going to be limited in size. The chestnut oak can get to be a pretty tall tree. Okay, this is an example of solid oak. It's so big. This place was burned over in a wildfire in 1963. So 27 years ago, a wildfire went. I thought you were supposed to be trying to earn points. Starting off with a deficit here. So we've got several of them. We've got this black on the outside. Now, the other thing that you can see is the sprouts from the trunk. There are 3 species of pine that can sprout from the trunks like this. Pitch pine is one, shortleaf pine is one, and Shirakawa pine is the other. So it's something that allows, once it's burned through, you can burn off a lot of the crown area and it will sprout again. Now that implies that the bark tissue is actually still alive. And you see we've got some sprouting right in here. That means that the cambial tissue on the inside part of the bark is actually able to grow new leaves. How could it be possible to burn a fire through here and still leave that bark alive? The inside of it.
Well, maybe the outside is fire.
The outside is fire resistant. What would make it fire resistant?
The resin?
Resin, possibly, although the resins burn pretty well.
What about just all the surface area of all the layers of the bark?
I think that would help.
I'm not sure.
Okay, if you look at the bark on the pitch pine, it's actually built up in layers. And it actually serves as an insulation for it. And this has been burned and it's cracked quite a bit, but underneath you still got more layers here. And all this stuff is just going to help insulate one layer, one layer, one layer, so that the heat is kept away from the sensitive tissue unless it gets a really hot fire. If it gets a really hot fire, it's going to kill it. But if the fire goes through and it doesn't get so awfully hot that it can burn through that, these things are going to survive, and then they're going to sprout from the trunk. Now oaks can't do that. And if you look at the oaks don't have the layers of bark. So if fire goes through here, it's going to burn the oak. And up to about 4 or 5 inches in diameter, it burns it. The oak is able to sprout back to back. But once you get bigger than that, they lose their ability to sprout back, and so it really kills them. So you don't get survival of the larger oaks when you get a good fire going through. If you look at that pitch pine there, that's an old pitch pine. You see how all the lower branches of it are all burned off and lost. So that they have an adaptation here to come back after the fire as individual trees. And look at how short these branches are. These are all epicormic branches that have come out after the fire. And we don't have really long branches like you do on that one. Now with the oaks have to come back from the root sprouts. Pines that are larger can't come back from root sprouts. Only the smaller pines can. And what they have is that their cones release the seeds, and seeds have very little stored energy in them. So these seeds, conifers are called naked seeds, and they don't have a lot of stored energy. And so if you put down a conifer seed on this kind of ground cover, the chance of it surviving and growing into a big pine tree is very, very small. But if you burn off that ground cover, there's a much better chance of getting started and surviving. And so once you clear it off with a fire, pine trees will start from seeds, oaks will start from the ground, if it really burns enough to kill it. Otherwise, you get these side branches developing on the pine trees. Well, why do we have all these fires? And what are some of the effects of it? So let's take a look at one of these trees. And this is my sacrificial lamb over here, I think. Due to the acidity. It's dry, and what does... Okay, what you've got to do is fragment it. You've got to break it down and mix it into the soil before the bacteria are going to act on it. Just hanging out like this, yeah, the bacteria don't want to get up here. Too hot and dry, they're not going to be very active. And so this stuff is going to sit here. You really need to break it down and get it down into the soil level. And then the bacteria will work on it. The smaller the fragments, the more bacteria can work on it. Increases the value of the culture media. So who's going to break this down?
Earthworms?
Earthworms, okay. So, let's see. Did you see any of these earthworms in here? On Long Island, out around Brookhaven, and up around Albany. And there's some up in New Hampshire. But every so often you'll come to this place where God has put down this batch of sand, which is just so drainage rich that it's a dry place and nutrient poor. And these are places where there has been oceans in the past, deposition of the sandy areas.
And landfills.
And landfills. So you see those around, and there's a similar vegetation in a lot of them. Pine Barrens is unique in some respects with the kind of combination of plants and animals that are here. But the principles are similar to these other places. And the fires that went through Long Island Pine Barrens, 5 years ago, really raised consciousness of people to what they had out there. And one of the really key things is that this water goes someplace. It's we talk about in the intro environmental science course. You know, there is no such thing as a way. Okay? Matter is always someplace. You just move it someplace. And so this water goes down and it piles up on semi-permeable zones down there, and it is a tremendous aquifer. Okay? There is just such a batch of water down there, and it's gradually moving towards the coast. but all the towns along the way are mining it as their source of drinking water. And you can see that because of the sand, there is no filtering component like sands and our silts and clays and bacteria and so on to purify it. So anything you put on here, like a landfill, is going to leach right down through and into the water supply. And things that you do that change the drainage patterns through there are going to change the water supply, and they're also going to change the pollutant level. And so places where there are waste sites and so on are of special concern in a place like this. And Long Island is mining it so fast that they're taking it faster than it is replenished. And as a result, the water level is moving back and back and is being replaced or pushed back by more dense water called seawater. And that's hell on the drinking system. And nobody likes to drink salty water. So this is the kind of system that they have. Results in these kinds of problems. So as we walk back here now, you're going to see a lot of ant holes. Okay, the trail that we walk in is a fire lane. And as you walk back along that, you're going to see orange sand. Okay, where is the orange sand from? Right, 4 feet down.
That's how far down the ants are?
And that's how far the ants are going.
Wow.
And they're bringing that orange colored sand up to the surface. And you're going to see it over here. And they really work like heck. And so the organic material that they're digging up, they're the only ones doing the mixing here, basically. And they're not doing a real good job at it.
There's one.
Got an ant?
Maybe we should talk to them.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now, listen, guys. We're counting on you. You're going to have to do a little
Oh,
bit,
there's one.
a little bit better job on this.
Oh, really? Come on, guys. Let's get with it.
Okay. Well, let's not bury him.
You should bring that movie and they can watch it.
Cape Cod, did they have the same situation?
Yeah, but Cape Cod probably, you've got the salt water coming in further in Cape Cod because it's so narrow. The Carpenter and the Pine Barrens Creek rod. Normally we spend time looking for a lizard here, but it's so cold.
So that pine snakes and king snakes are prevalent in this area.
There's huckleberries in here. Black snakes, like racers. Got a black racer here. Bill has been chasing these chickadees that are here. These are Carolina chickadees. And Carolina chickadees look exactly like black-capped chickadees that we have. And the only way you can tell them apart is by the song and the call. And they look so much alike that you'd almost think they were the same species. And yet they don't interbreed as far as we can tell. And the isolating mechanism is primarily behavioral. And there are black-capped chickadees down here too. So it's not that the ranges don't overlap, but the ranges do overlap, and because of these behavioral differences in the song, they're probably not attracted to each other and don't interbreed. They have been spreading further north.
Isn't the song known from the parents?
Well, there is a learning component to it, but it's also something that's partly genetically, it develops between the genes and the environment.
So the song for the South Carolina has a southern drawl too, is that what this is?
Well, it's really not, but you would think that. It's just dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee.
DDD, y'all.
It's much faster.
DDD, right.
And then they go from B to B, which is the drawl part. Where ours goes B, B. They have a four-parted. Okay, well, that's silly. It's an interesting example of evolutionary
Hear the draws afterwards.
The leaves are little spiral grass blades. And if you look right down here on that clump, you're going to see some curly grass fern. Right here. That's a life plant for everybody here, except for Bill and I. And Dave. Life plant. First time you've seen it in your life.
Where is it?
The picture blonde is like
Okay. Curly grass fern is one of the specialties here. And people come from all over the country to see curly grass fern.
Jeez. Not much to see.
No, there's not. And if you look around, you're going to see a few more individual plants around here. Once you've seen it, you know how to look for it. But it is very inconspicuous. Here's some here. And it's easily damaged and killed.
Hence, it is in danger.
No.
no, please.
You got to get really close to it to see it.
I don't think you can see it from back there. Probably not. I can only see it from here.
This is so pretty. It's like a movie set, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Those roots. So yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's not much to it. It's real tender.
See, they go strong. They're going to strong.
You didn't even look at it.
When you get in here and the sun is shining through and shining off this, it is really spectacular. It's so beautiful in here. And you back away so you don't hear any noises, except for the trees creaking.
That's something else you do from the past. Shake up the coat.
30 on then have you to a boy.
And then you guys want to measure the wind speed?
Yeah,
What's it custom to?
85 feet high.
85.
I've had it up to 40 today.
Yeah.
Wind is loud.
I have to excuse my tower. It's never usually this messy, but I wasn't up here the whole time.
That's okay. Don't tell anybody.
Usually it's worse now.
Had you known we were coming, you just straightened it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different for forever, but if you want to change the time.
I've had a lot of visitors today. I bet you I've had 10 or 15 people up here today. All week long I didn't have anybody. Yeah,
People just normally come.
they just stop up. And
Cool.
That's cool.
most of them I know.
We'll thank quick from 7. Change the start time to 15:37.
I'm gonna keep this mic on as I'm walking down in the wind. Yeah.
You, who's afraid of heights anyway, want to mess up the stability of the town.
Oh my god.
Some faded if you want to take some with you.
So what's your opinion about letting the forest burn?
It's good for the forest. A lot of trees won't reseed unless they
Right.
burn. You know what I mean? You gotta split the plank into stuff. We do a lot of control burning, which is, to reduce the hazard of fire. And when you need fire.
That's what started some of the big fires out west this year, that was, right?
Yeah, the
That
Los
1%.
Alamos fire, New Mexico.
Not the Montana ones, those were all natural.
The one I was on in Montana was charcoal briquettes the guy threw out.
Oh.
And another one was an ATV or something like that.
But none of them were the controlled ranger.
No. No. Now, I'm not saying they tried to light a backfire and messed up.
Wind shifted or just got...
Jesus. They do a lot of stupid things out there. I don't know.
You gonna say right there?
It seems like sometimes when the fire is just about out, they try to burn it in. They contain it more. They always lose it. There's a lot of people make their living fighting fire. Water tenders and stuff like that. So sometimes I think they do it on purpose. I'm not sure.
Down backwards.
I don't want to say nothing and get back to the wrong person, but
Yeah,
we were wrapped up pretty good one day.
Can you put this in your backpack?
Yeah, we're looking good. Next thing I know, about 2 hours later, it's fire just blowing up the mountain. We're running out of there for our lives, And
Make yourself easy.
Okay, one of the case studies we did was the Yosemite fires, the 83 fires in Yosemite, and after that, as far as letting them burn or not burn, and
yeah.
when you have a national forest or a national National Preserve like that, it's tough to see it burn.
Yeah.
Even though it came back.
Alright, I'm about ready to go back down.
They'll all come back.
Yeah.
A lot of your trees, I've talked to a lot of loggers
So
from
let's
Alaska,
just trade places.
and they said if fire burns through, it'll ruin a certain species of trees, and they won't really grow back unless you rough the dirt up. Like, you know, sometimes if a stump falls over, then it'll grow back. But
You there?
You're going back to
Backwards.
Johnny, do you want somebody else to go
Okay, 1633.
Backwards is best.
Portable 47.
yeah.
Give me a call when you're on.
Go back.
Alright,
Yeah, go back.
Johnny, go back.
Go backwards, Johnny.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Why did I come up? Thank you.
Because you followed us.
No problem. Oh, good luck with your schooling.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if you ever need any information or anything, feel free to call down here.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can help you out. You know, anything. We got a lot of information and educational material and stuff.
Okay. Where is Long Beach Island from here? Do you know Long Beach Island? Is it
Straight
like...
down this road. You on this road, and they'll get off of it, and we'll run you right into it.
Really? Okay.
Yep. You go that way. You're about 35 miles, probably.
We made love here.
I saw that. It's crazy.
That's when the trees were up here, probably. There used to be real big.
Maples.
Out in the woods again.
Yes.
Where are the maples?
Sticking by that.
I like that.
It's very different than any place we've been so far.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's different about it?
Different kinds of trees here. What kinds of trees do we recognize?
I know.
Now these are oak, and majority of them, like this one, and that one are white oak.
And the one right there is a black oak. And the one over there is a chestnut oak. And then another white oak. Another black oak. I think that other one, that's another black oak. So we've got white, black, chestnut, and then we've got a bunch of things on the ground here that are relatively low. And this is bayberry. That smells nice too. Smells something like bayberry. That's a pretty good variety. And then we've got these little small pine trees coming in. How can we ever get oaks like this? Fires kill oaks, especially these. White oak is extremely sensitive to fire.
There's no fires here.
What's that?
Elevation too high for fires.
Okay, maybe the elevation is too high for fires.
I mean, we were just up there on the top. Oh, think so? Okay, and the way they fight it off is by what they call controlled burns. This is an area that they maintain by controlled burns. So this winter, the litter is built up here an awful lot, more than normal. And I will almost guarantee that they're going to do a controlled burn in here this winter.
There's some wintergreen.
Yeah, it's winter green, so that it's winter burn.
Considering the amount of CO2 that goes in the atmosphere from controlled burning, how necessary is it to control burn in an area like this?
If they don't do the controlled burn, the fires will come through, will be hotter, and they will burn through the bark on these oaks and change it, which is all right from an ecological standpoint. However, there's an awful lot of houses down here too, and people get a little annoyed when their house burns down, and we spend an awful lot of money trying to save the houses from burning down. And if it's going to burn anyway, there's going to be a lot of CO2 at that point.
Okay.
So,
one way or the other.
But you're right. But the controlled burn prevents it from getting big fires along here. And it's almost like a fire break. So along the road you quite often find these bands of oak, especially where there's housing, that they represent the fact that this is controlled burn. I mean, there is white pine. And that white pine is seeding in from the ones right on the other side. White pine is very sensitive to fire. It just has thin bark and it goes right down. So this is an area where they have the controlled burn, and very characteristic of that. So one of the papers you read was on controlled burns. Aha! That's a nice one. That's something that's relatively characteristic of a rich forest. Okay. That's called striped wintergreen.
What's it called again?
Striped wintergreen.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not a wintergreen, really. Yeah. Yeah. Those are the fruits of it. It's actually related to Pipsissewa instead of to the real wintergreen. But it's a semi-woody type of herb. Persists pretty good through the winter. And it's another indication that this place is not burned heavily. Okay. Off to the next to the last stop. I wouldn't be surprised if this was what brought over the chestnut blight that killed off our chestnut. It was one of these species that they brought in, like this. This is a little group that they planted here. It was brought over as an ornamental.
There is one of those big pink splotch on it.
That's the trail marker. It's the Batstow Trail.
There's a whole bunch of trees with pink markers on
Yeah.
them.
That's how you can tell the black oak. Okay. Okay, this is what's called the Pine Plains, or the Pygmy Pines. These are, sometimes they call them the Ashani Pines. These pines are actually as old or older than the ones we were in before that were 60 feet tall.
Really?
But this is maintained by very frequent fires. This is where fires burn through every 7 or 8, 10 years. And burn through it so frequently that it really shapes the growth patterns of the trees. And what we end up with are some blackjack and scrub oak, but mainly blackjack oak, which comes back very quickly and is a more resilient species with respect to fires. The more frequent the fires, the more frequent, or the higher proportion of blackjack oak you have. And the pitch pine here is what's referred to as a dwarf form. Although it's mainly due to the environmental conditions, and when they transplanted some of it down into other areas, it grew okay. However, there is genetic differences here, and this is where we get the cones that don't open until they're burned. Okay, so these are the ones that they will just hang there until the fire comes, and that's called serotiny. They're bound together, and it takes the heat to make them open up and drop their seeds.
Will the cones fall and come back every season?
Pardon?
Do the cones, do the cones always stay there, or do they come back every season?
No, they stay there.
Wow.
So most of these are old. They'll put, see, some of them are still on sort of dead branches, but here's a new one here.
Huh.
And so it will produce more cones, but they just hang there.
How come this one opens?
Okay, that's one that's open.
He didn't know he was supposed to wait.
It's like a different species. No.
That's probably,
came off the same
probably
tree.
was here during a fire and just got heated up.
Hey guys, settle down.
But
You're off the same tree. Kick your ass. Hope you're not going to be like that in class next week. Have to bring a paddle or something. Settle down.
there will be some cones on these things that do open up. It's a statistical probability, but by and large they really sit there and don't open until they get burnt. And you can see the litter here is, this thing has not burned in the last several years. It's been at least 8 years since this has burned. And part of it now is that the Pine Barrens as a whole, to take the whole thing on average, used to burn about every 20 to 24 years. And that was the fire frequency. That now is about every 65 years because of the influence of man, just controlling the fires and doing controlled burns and putting things out so that at any one particular point, you know, if you take a whole random sample of points in the Pine Barrens, average fire frequency now, average fire return is 65 years, which used to be 24. So we've had a tremendous impact on the way the Barrens really are. There are 3 sections of it that have these pine plains, pygmy pines, and this is one of the bigger ones. And the question is, well, why do the fires? Why are they so frequent here? And nobody really knows.
We'll throw cigarettes out their windows.
Yeah.
My tiki bar.
Yeah, torches if they light.
But this has been the case. I mean, you obviously wouldn't get the evolution of Srotany cones just since tiki opened up.
That's probably true.
Or even since they built the roads. Or even since the white man was here.
White man.
So why frequent fires here? And people have guessed that it's just the highest points and so it dries out faster because of the winds. They've hypothesized that it's really a problem of aluminum solubility and that it really is a function of aluminum toxicity to things. And so they keep killing off the trees, make it easier for them to burn, or it really is more due to aluminum toxicity. But that doesn't seem to be the case either. And so there's been 4 or 5 hypotheses that have been raised, and still there's no good answer for it. But these areas do seem to burn much more frequently, and even through time now, they still burn at a much higher frequency than some of the other areas.
That was fun. I've got a quick question, Dr. Otter. I don't know if you can see it, but what's happening here to this oak?
That's a gall.
It's a gall. Okay.
It's a cancer of the branch.
It's not induced by any insect or anything?
Well, it probably is.
Oh.
It probably is. Many of them are. Some of them are induced by fungi.
As you can see.
This is not an insect.
I got it back inside.
It's not too good up there though.
So I would say let's just wander around for a minute so you get a feel of what this is like.
Wander around that way. I'll wander this way.
You won't get lost, Fred.
Oh no?
Yeah, you know you're the road.
Right here.
We'll even be able to see a shiny out here.
I don't want to wander around. I'm staying here.
Good check out. Thank you, guys.
Here. I can see this is a tough sell. Okay. You had to see it, you had to experience it.
Okay. We did.
There are a few places where there's actually some trails through it.
That would be cool.
We can't use that as that.
No.
What was that?
Of course you didn't think it's so.
Well, you want to experience it, Fred. You got to be up close and personal to really know what an ecosystem is like. Fred, where are you?
He's back.